Outfield. All right, let's hit outfield here. Now, the thing about outfield is there's plenty of them. There's a lot of them. But the problem is you have to get a lot of them too. You have to get, you have to get at least 5, sometimes 6, depending on what you do with your UT spot. On average, 4 or 5 of them go in the first round. We'll see what happens with Corbin Carroll in the next month. But that might change it a little bit there. But, at the same time, as he rises, so as Carroll drops, Kyle Tucker rises. So I think it kind of trades off a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, you have to kind of know I feel like people have a tendency to be specific with outfield. Like it's really easy to pile up on it early because a lot of times it's like outfield versus this whatever second baseman or this third. Like you kind of want to always go the outfield, but I think you need to look at the pool as a whole and be like, okay, well, if I'm going to fill up, my outfield spots by 220, then I'm not going to be able to get these guys afterwards that I really like. If you're shopping and maybe the Matt Wallner, Jesus Sanchez, Isaac Collins, if you want any of those guys, I mean, sure, you can come as a bench guy, but you can't get multiple of them. The one thing I will mention is there's this interesting pocket of left-handed mashers who are probably you can use for platoon splits very easily. It's like the Kerry Carpenters, maybe Wilyer Abreu if it's true that he's or maybe just hit against left. Jack Caglione, Dalton Varsho, like a lot of these very typical Addison Barger, a lot of these prototypical one-sided platoon mashers.
Yeah, at least you get on the good side of platoon, and typically lefties hit for better average too. So I don't want to have all 4 to 5 of those guys. And the thing is, I want to get at least one early outfielder is the way I've been kind of building it. I also don't want to wait to pick 20, pick 21 to get my 5th outfielder. I kind of want to fill up by then, maybe get one guy in the 300s. Maybe he's my UT, but I think it kind of dries up a little bit at a certain point. Or if you take for instance, Matt Wallner, let's just, I won't group him. I'll make him as an individual here. Big strikeout rate, big batting average risk. I love him. I love his power and hard hit rate, but just realize it comes with risk. And I want one of him. I don't want 3 guys where all of a sudden they're playing 2 or 3 days a week. That's kind of a low key of a disaster there. So when you're earlier, you're talking about I don't mind waiting. You don't mind waiting until to fill second base with one of your last spots. I'd rather take an outfielder than one of those pick 200 second baseman.
That's exactly. It's a great point. And also there's a lot of talent in that range, right? Like you get a steals explosion at 4 positions with Jose Caballero in that range. You're getting, the upside of Mike Trout, somebody solid like Stephen Kwan or Brian Reynolds. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Can I ask you what you do you have any love whatsoever for I'm just curious, Dalen Lyle. What do you think about him?
Yes, I do.
Price? You do?
I do. In fact, I've drafted him in my last 2 drafts. I mentioned him at First Pitch Arizona. Team context stinks. We talked about it. Nats fans, it's all right. We've been there as a Reds fan. I've been there before, but so yes, I've been there before, but at the same time, I like the hard hit profile. I like that he cut down, K's a little bit there. There's a lot to like about Dalen Lyle. I probably like him too much, if that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah, he's a tough guy for me to somebody for me that kind of comes out of nowhere, he's not a nowhere because he was a solid prospect. And all of a sudden he's like a middle of the lineup bat. And he's just priced there in a group of all these veterans. It's just hard for me to, have my ranking on him, but it's just, it's not far off his ADP, but I just didn't know what to make of him. So I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I like him a lot. My problem is he's starting to get a little bit more expensive. And that's the one thing I'm a little bit concerned with there, but that's okay. I just got to make sure a problem I sometimes have, Vlad, is I fall in love with a certain player and then, I want to get them and I'm worried about someone sniping from me. So I push them well above ADP to, or I'm not getting the value for them. That's the thing. I almost price out the value I could get from him, and without real, sometimes you have to do that because if everybody likes a guy, it's probably for a good reason. And sometimes being ahead of ADP like that is good. It's being, as Chris Liss would say, genius mode as opposed to agnostic mode. That's good. I think you need to get your guys, but at the same time, I worry about taking too much of that there. So that's something to watch out for a little bit every once in a while. But I do like Dalen Lyle quite a bit. All right. Vlad's targets, fades, and breakouts. This is probably a copious position for that there. Let's start with targets. Who do you got here?
Targets. I really love Roman Anthony. I'm bummed that he's actually bummed that he's going to be playing in the WBC because not that somebody of his ilk needs any more hype, but he's going to get it.
Yes, he is.
It feels like a rock star to me. And then again, of course, the risk of injury for selfishly for current shares. But yeah, I just think he's a stud, and I think he's going to be great. Him, I do like. You know me. I like to dabble in that danger zone. So like I've got a couple of DCs with Buxton and Luis Robert Jr. and I don't care. And
I do like danger. Yes. Yes. I became a Buxton guy in one of my drafts already this year. I've been notorious for been a never Buxton. So if I'm taking him, it means he's about to bust again. But no, hey, he made it through a full season healthy. He's still running, and he's running well. He's running very efficiently. Maybe he'll relent to a trade this summer, but a trade isn't necessarily a bad thing either.
And he's in the WBC. He's another guy I wish that wasn't there, but
yeah, I agree with that.
Go USA.
Indeed. Fades. Who do you got as our fades at the position?
It's some of the early guys with the questionable batting average. I guess it's a theme for me. If I'm taking on batting average risk, let me get it a little bit later and with something else. So, could it be that Luis Robert Jr. and PCA, as blasphemous as this might sound, Pete Armstrong may not have all that different stats this year? Luis Robert had massive power a few seasons ago when he stayed healthy. And he's fast. He runs, steals bases, and great team context. So I don't know. For me, Picaro Armstrong, the fall has been in ADP it's been justified. I think the market's been adjusting because this is a guy that was going around the second, third round turn in 15 teamers, and now he's going, I think, closer to like 36, 38. I've seen him fall 40. So he's talented. He's awesome. I just can't do it. I can't click on it. And then I think I read something like James Wood's strikeouts last year. Maybe I should confirm things before I just take it as fact, but like they did the third most strikeouts ever in the season in a major league season. I don't know if that's true or not, but like I know he's struck out a lot. Rate.
I mean, we can settle on the fact that he was striking out at a very alarming rate. PCA, by the way, I was looking this up while you were talking a little bit. I knew I knew it was bad, but 533 OPS in his last 51 regular season games. Yeah, it wasn't just bad. It was horrifically bad. And, very bad plate discipline, 4.7% walk rate, fifth worst in baseball among qualified hitters. Alex Bregman's supposedly taking him under his wing, and it's going to make him a less of a chaser. I read a glowing article about Bregman's intrinsic qualities that make his teammates better. So today, so we'll see about that, see if that holds true. But, there's some belief that, but also, you know what? PCA is 23. That's part of the push and pull of the process there too. Turns 24 in March 25th. So it'll be his age 24 season. Yeah. Things can happen there that can change that.
You know what Bregman does? He's like, he passes along his magic powers, but then it's sapped from him because that's what he did. He came to Boston last year, said, Trevor Story, you will be magically cured and healthy this year. But then, and then he goes ahead and gets injured. So
yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah. And now Trevor Story is interesting in that, he chose to stay with the Red Sox. He could have opted out after that good season. Instead, he's like, I like it here. I'm going to stay here. I thought that was interesting. And it caused a bit of a roster squeeze for the Red Sox, but boo-hoo for them.